From 2022 to 2024, we drove the whole Panamerican from North America to South America, and we wanted to share with you all the process that goes into border crossings from one country to the next and its specificities. We did all that with this vehicle back here, French plated, and we're now in Australia, so it's possible to ship around the world, and it's not that difficult.
We know it can get intimidating, sometimes it's hard to find updated information online, so we're going to run you through all of the steps to be able to ship your own vehicle and do this kind of travel. It's not that hard, and it's kind of always the same when you understand the process.
All right, cool. So, step one, literally all you need is your passport, your car registration, and your driver's license. That's all you need.
Yes, you've heard us well. Only 3 documents can bring your vehicle and yourself around the world.
We also had with us our international driving license, but to be completely honest, we were never asked to show it. Border crossings. When you arrive physically at a border crossing, it can look very chaotic or very organized, but down the line you always look for 3 steps. You will have at every border crossing to go through those 3 steps. So don't panic and just find immigration office, customs office, and the police check. That's all.
First thing you do, you go to immigration and you do your visa, so your personal visa. You're the first step. The second thing you do is the registration for the car, which is called the TIP. And from there do the temporary import permit, which is the document for the vehicle. That you do it locally at the office at the border control. To do that, the police is going to inspect your vehicle, check the VIN number, so make sure you have it and it's clear and it's not scratched off, and inspect that there is no fruits and things like that. Make sure that there is no new parts that you're bringing over to the country, so remove all the wraps of any new boxes that you have if you're bringing anything into the country, just so that it looks used and that it looks personal. Once they validate the checkup, they will take passport, driver's license, car registration. They'll start typing away stuff. It takes usually a little bit of time. And once they're done, they give you a piece of paper which you should keep very dearly, because if you lose this, you could be in a lot of trouble. That literally just says temporary import permit on there, which will look something like this. Now what you need to do is make sure that your license plate number is correct, your model, your color, the year, everything, because when you exit the country and they go through this, you might end up in some problem and it could take a while. We've never had an issue. There has been sometimes few small minor errors which we didn't catch, and luckily we didn't get in trouble, but do check all the information because they do 1 million of these per day, and of course they can not be perfect, so you need to make sure.
See, we're at the border and we have to fill up the vehicle information for the temporary import permit, and I have to fill it out.
This one, keep it all the way until you exit the country, because when you exit, you're going to hand this in along with your 3 documents. They're going to cancel your TIP, and then you can drive across the border and create a new one for the next country.
Make sure you actually stop at the border. Sometimes we've noticed we could have actually driven through without anyone stopping us. But you will need those papers. You will need the stamp in your visa. You will need your TIP.
Ecuador border, done, stamped out. It's actually a pretty nice little visa. It's like pink and orange. Now, cross that bridge and go to Peru.
Peru!
Let's go! And there will be an extra. Usually it's a car insurance. I believe that in every country it was obligatory to buy insurance except for maybe 1 or 2. So that's up to you. And usually it's all really well organized. So when it comes to USA and Canada, you do those online. And then all the rest of the countries, Mexico onwards, all the way to Argentina, you can do it at the border. Except actually Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, you actually do that online. It's called MERCOSUR insurance, and you can just buy it there for all those countries.
Third-party insurance is often mandatory. In most countries of the Panamerican, you can also forget about full cover insurance for your car and yourself. You have to note that many people just don't have insurance.
And then the next ones are Canada, USA. You need to buy insurance online. This is not at the border. And insurance is a whole complicated mess because they ask you for an address in the US, they ask you for a registration that is American, which you won't have. So if you have a friend, you can use their address and you have to use your license plate and tell them that it's a foreign vehicle. A lot of times they won't understand, so you have to bring it up to a manager level and they will figure it out. We didn't get the expensive insurance, we got the cheap one, and the cheap one, they do overlanding vehicles all the time, so it was super clear, super fast forward. But, like I said before, you get what you pay, so up to you to decide. We went with the cheap one, and the only experience we know is that we only got $100 back from towing and we paid almost $1,500. We will leave in the description below the email of the person who we contacted for the insurance and the name of the insurance we used in South America, well, in the MERCOSUR area, and the ones we used up in North America.
For shipping on the American continent, there's probably two main tips. Is pick your port wisely, because that matters, and pick an agent that you trust or was recommended by someone. Especially shipping out, we've heard of quite a few scams of people posing as an agent, but they actually were here to rob your vehicle or get some money from you. So yeah, pick an agent that another traveler recommends to you.
Now, shipping in general to the continent, we shipped to Halifax in Canada, but if you're shipping down to Colombia or down to Uruguay or somewhere else, the process would be similar. You contact an agent from your home country and they will take care of all the documents. In our case, we shipped from Germany, Hamburg, all the way to Halifax.
And now, how do you cross the mighty Darwin Gap? That's the #1 question everyone asks. How do we go on this stretch of the Panamerican that has no road?
There's one shipment between Central America and South America. That is from Panama to Colombia or vice versa. It was around $2,000 and pretty well organized. We went with Overland Embassy. And for this, it's pretty straightforward. You just write to Overland Embassy or IVSS or another company, and they will ask you for the same 3 documents. Agent will take care of everything. And if he doesn't, he will tell you exactly what to do.
We will talk to you in a later video about all the process to load your car in a container. We often came with many questions, but there's no need. Your agent is usually used to it and will take care of all the details. Just make sure your car is well strapped to the container and the container well sealed after you entered the car.
We are now in the process of preparing this vehicle to be shipped from Australia to Asia in Timor. So we're going to do a full comprehensive video of how to ship a vehicle internationally by container or by roll-on roll-off, and that will be on the channel very soon. We carry with us sometimes some copies of our passport, driving license, car registration. We always have them at hand. Sometimes the offices will ask you the copy of the stamp that you just got 2 minutes ago. But don't panic, in those cases there's always a copy shop next to the border or in the border with someone trying to do a little business. So you always figure it out on the spot because someone has created a business to make sure you will be able to complete that step. There's always a situation where a certain event might change the regulations at the border. And in those cases, to get latest update on the border crossing, just use the app iOverlander. You will see the latest travelers that crossed and commented on the border crossing, and they will let you know if anything special was requested when they went there.
It's just a few steps, very easy steps, and once you've done it for the first 2 countries, it's always the same down the road. So you'll get very good at this and you won't need to ever ask anyone anything because it's really always the same. All you need is these 3, come up with a 4th one. So we have some videos on YouTube that explain this. I think we have one of Mexico. We do have on our Patreon, which we'll put in the link in the description, a matrix. So that's a big Excel file with every country's requirements. And we don't only talk about immigration, customs, TIP, but we talk also about the drone regulations, the currency, the borders we cross, what's safe, what's not safe, things like that. And that's a huge document with all that information, so you can go and download it on our Patreon.
On our Patreon only access matrix, we have collected in an Excel table every single regulations about entering the countries on our world tour journey. You will not only find information about immigration, but also about customs and many more tips related to security, health, drone regulations, and more. You can access the matrix by subscribing to our Patreon.
I think that's everything, but if you have a question, leave it in the comment below and we will get back to you. So enjoy the Americas or wherever you're shipping, because it's very similar.
Officially stamped out of Colombia, and now
Going to Ecuador. It literally took 10 minutes to stamp out from Colombia the vehicle and ourselves. We heard the longer part is Ecuador.
look at the amount of people.